Okay, the first question here from the warm-up. This is quiz 5.2c. It says, suppose you toss one coin and roll one six-sided die. List the possible outcomes in the sample space. So if you think about it, a coin can either land on heads or tails, so there's two outcomes for the coin, and the six-sided die has six outcomes. So when you toss one coin and roll a six-sided die, you have 2 times 6, which is 12 outcomes. It could land on heads with the die rolling a 1, heads with a 2, heads with a 3, heads with a 4, heads with a 5, heads with a 6, tails with a 1, tails with a 2, tails with a 3, tails with a 4, tails with a 5, and tails with a 6. Those are the possible outcomes for the sample space. Probability of getting a head, if you look, there are 6 heads out of the 12 possibilities. So 6 out of 12 is 0.5. And as we go down, probability of getting a 1, 2, or 3 on the die, those are 1, 2s, and 3s right here. So there are 6 of those. That's 6 out of 12, which is also again 0.5. So both have a 0.5 probability there. In D, the probability of getting a head or a 5. So the probability of getting a heads on the coin toss is 6 out of 12, plus the probability of getting a 5. There's 2 of them, a heads and a 5 and tails and a 5, so that's 2 out of 12, minus both. Remember, we have to get rid of the both. Heads and a 5 is both, so minus 1 out of 12. So 6 ways to get a heads, 2 ways to get a 5, and then you subtract the both, which is getting a head and a 5. 6 plus 2 minus 1 gives you 7 out of 12, which is 0.5833. So that's the probability of getting a head or a 5. In number 2, it says in a statistics class there's 18 juniors and 10 seniors. So I wrote out here, that means there were 28 students. If you have 18 juniors and 10 seniors, you had 28 total students. 6 of the seniors are females. So that means if you look at 10 seniors, if 6 are females, then that means 4 are males. If 12 of the juniors are males and you had 18 juniors, then that means 6 are females. You had 12 males and 6 females. So if a student is selected at random, find the probability of, first it says selecting a junior or a female. So we first get the probability of selecting a junior, there's 18 out of 28, plus the probability of selecting a female, there are 6 senior females and 6 junior females, so that's 12 out of 28, minus the both. That is juniors that are females, so that's 6 out of 28. When we add these together, you get 18 plus 12 is 30, minus 6 is 24, so there's a 24 out of 28 probability of getting a junior or a female, which is 0.8571. And now go to the next page. Number 3. Consolidated Builders has bid on 2 large construction contracts. The company president believes the probability of winning the first contract is 0.6, the probability of winning the second one is 0.3, and the probability of winning both is 0.1. So remember, we start in the middle with the both. So there's the 0.1. That means the probability of winning the first contract being 0.6, that has to be 0.5, so that adds up to 0.6. Probability of the second one being 0.3, that circle has to add up to 0.3, so we put 0.2 there, and 0.5 plus 0.1 plus 0.2 is 0.8, which means there's 0.2 out there that are not, that's the probability of not getting either of the contracts. So in B it says, what's the probability that Consolidated wins at least one of the jobs? So there's a 0.5 chance they get this, they just get A, there's a 0.1 chance they get both, and there's a 0.2 chance they just get B. So there's a 0.8 chance that they at least get one of the jobs, because there's a 0.2 chance that they get none of them. In C, it says write each of the following events. Remember, you have to know your mathematical formulas. That's the key on here. The probability of A and B happening is the part in the middle, them getting both. That's 0.1. The probability of them winning the first job but not the second, that's right here. So they didn't get the second, but they did get the first. That's 0.5, and that's written as A and B complement. Either they do not win the first job or they win the second. So there's a 0.6 chance that they win the first job. So there's a 0.4 chance that they don't win the first job. there's a 0.2 chance that they just win the second job, and then you subtract the 0.1, which is the both, so you actually get a 0.5 chance that they do not win the first job or they win the second. And we'll go back over that later to get you through how to get that. And then number 4, if Consolidated does not win either job, that's A complement, meaning they don't get job A, and B complement, meaning they don't get job B, and that is 0.2, and that's noted by the part on the outside in the Venn diagram. So that takes you through your warm-up activity. So if you'll make sure you have all the answers on that, and you'll be able to put that away. And the next thing we're going to look at are the we're going to quickly look at the homework problems. So if you get your book out and your homework, we're going to look at the evens on the homework from last night.